guys! Welcome back to the channel. This is chapter 2 of Mornstar the Maiden Voyage. Please don't re-upload my stuff, and enjoy! Chapter 2. They walked through towns long abandoned, forests and fields long overgrown. Along the side of a mountain they found themselves in a crag in the rock, sheltering from the rain. Dillon broke some bread and gave half to Dawn. Here. Oh, thank you. I've been wondering. Yes? How come you fell from the sky? The sky? Yes. Polaris was a floating city, as I told you, but I heard something called to me from below. This was after it was turned to ruins and no one else lived there. It was as if a part of me was calling. Then the ground beneath me fell away, and I remember nothing else. You were there all alone? Where did the people go? The last king destroyed them all. What? Why? There was a prophecy on Polaris that was thought to have said, "The 69th king shall be the greatest of them all," in ancient Starly, but it was retranslated and found to have said 70th instead. The last king was the 69th, and was raised his whole life thinking he would be the greatest king, just to have that dream ripped from underneath him. But that's just a prophecy. He could still have been a good king. I know he could have, but he grew very angry and wanted to destroy Polaris. The last words he spoke were, "If I can't be the greatest king, then I will be the last." And suddenly, I was the only person still alive. But that's horrible. Living alone for so long? I was used to being alone. No one ever cared for me except my mother and a few others. What was your mother like? She was calm and soothing. Her hair was soft and long. She sang to me and told me the history of Polaris so I would know where I came from. Her name was Evestar in Starly, but she was also known as Luna. Evestar means Silver Night Queen, with Eve meaning Silver Night and Star meaning a member of royalty. Dawn told Dillon many things about the Starliti and their language, how they had come from the earth long ago, and spent so long in the sky that they learned how to communicate with the stars themselves. When the rain let up slightly, they went on. Along an old trail through the mountains they found themselves. There were pines and tall rocks. Just when they reached the top, the rain stopped and they could see a town at the bottom. Dawn exclaimed, "There's a town!" I wouldn't get too excited if I were you. They kept on until night when they finally reached the town, but found it deserted. The remnants of buildings were charred or collapsed completely. There was a greatly charred house that must have once been engulfed in fire. Next to the house was a big oak tree that seemed to have never recovered from the flames. Under the long dead tree were 2 stones. Dawn could feel the pain and sadness of the souls that must have died here. Dillon led Dawn to the big empty house where they could stay the night. It was dry and dusty inside. Just an old wood floor and boardings on all the windows. They spread out their blankets and made small beds for themselves. Why is this town empty, Dillon? Used to be an old mining town. Lots of those around here. But the government wanted to try a new weapon, so they used it here. There was fire. So much fire. Some folks had no place to go. Some couldn't escape the blast when the fire found the oil. If the bomb didn't get them, then the explosion did. I used to live here. I saw it all. My family didn't make it, and I didn't have anywhere to go, so I just wandered. Moscato found me and took me in. That's so sad. The truth is... Shh! Do you hear that? Dillon got up to investigate. There were 2 men outside. One of them was holding a strange device. I'm telling you, the indicator is detecting a real strong energy signature around here. Nonsense. There's nothing here and hasn't been since the oil mine failure. Let's go back to base and report our findings anyhow. The men turned around and walked off. Dillon was watching through a boarded window. What are they doing? He muttered to himself. What is it, Dillon? Just some men outside. They look like those guys who came to the orphanage looking for you. Really? It's okay. Whoever they are, they're gone now. Get some sleep. I'll keep watch in case they come back. He turned out the lamp and watched as Dawn went to sleep. She didn't glitter so much anymore, but she still looked like an angel. He smiled as he laid his head on his knee and tried not to sleep. Light danced through the boarded windows on Dillon's face, and he woke. For a moment he forgot where he was, and thought for a moment that those few years of his life had been a dream, but no. "I was wondering when you would wake up." Dawn had come in from another room with a small tin. "I found this and wondered what it was." "That's a memory box. My family had one that they put special trinkets in." Dawn gently shook the tin, then looked around. Her eyes drank in every detail, every photo, every cobweb, every crack in the walls. Then her gaze returned to him. "This was your house, wasn't it?" He looked astonished at first, but his gaze fell to the floor, and his face fell. "I never wanted to come back here, but I knew it was safe." Dawn pressed the memory box into his hands. "Here, this is yours. You should never forget. Just remember and know it's over. View your new life as unlikely circumstances that came to be, and try to find happiness with the new people you meet and things you see. But remember and mourn your old life still. Remember people that made you feel welcome, and try to live your life doing things that you think would please them. Then the things you do will remind you of them. Then you'll never really forget." Dillon smiled slightly and gripped the box tightly. Dawn looked at the window behind him. "That's why I said you could come along, because I thought that Mother would do it too." He looked at her, and her eyes seemed to glitter like stars. He felt a warm feeling inside as he held his box, and smiled with tears in his eyes. The memory was painful, filled with fire and death, a memory he had tried to push far, far away, where he didn't have to remember it. When it burst forth again, an aching pain appeared in his soul, but no matter what he did, he could not dull the pain. And yet, it seemed less after a few tears than it had after years of suppressing it. They were all packed up and ready to go outside. The sun seemed to brighten with every step. Dillon looked back at the house. Dawn put her hand on his shoulder and smiled. He nodded, and they continued on.